So we show up this morning and our meter is in and it is running. And also we have our main shutoff switch that Papa hooked up. It is on. So we have permanent electrical service. Very excited about it. Okay, here's the deal. On this wall, outside wall from the living room into the kids' bedrooms, you know, we stopped along that double seal there. Now, what we've gone in today and done is continued the wall all the way up to the top rafters of the ceiling. So those rises right there, and then all the way across the top. Now, in addition to that, this is where Mr. Cool is going to go, our mini split air conditioner. That's our template that's taped up there. So we ran some 2x10 runners just to give it extra strength because I don't really want that thing to fall on my head if I'm walking under it. Now, what Cassandra is really excited about, before I get that up there, is we're going to put shiplap on. So this is what it's going to look like. Of course, this is the doorway right here that'll be cut, but we just wanted to get a look at what it's going to look like. So the shiplap's going to go from the floor all the way up to the top of the ceiling. 1.5 is right on it. Today we're getting our Mr. Cool installed, our mini split air conditioner. So we have this outside. This is the condenser unit. Inside we have the inside part already mounted. I'll show you that in a second. But what happens is it has a group of wires and hoses and electrical cord that's going to come through, and I'll show you how that works. But it's going to come out up here and it's going to run down. So we won't put this onto the wall with the brackets that we have yet until we figure out exactly where the hoses are going to go and figure out how that's going to get hooked up. But we already have electric run from the box to the outside, and then the outside around. We have the wire into this hose that we'll cut back and get mounted as we go. So let's go inside and we'll check out what we're doing. So we have our indoor unit already installed. This is a Mr. Cool 36,000 BTU DIY system. And it's rated for 1,500 square feet, so hopefully with our 960 square feet, it'll get the job done. We elected to put it here on this end of the house because it's away from the kitchen where you're not supposed to have it near heat because it causes condensation and moisture buildup and all that. So we're going to have it here. It's going to blow towards our bedroom. That's the number one reason. But we'll have ceiling fans in the kids' rooms that we'll just reverse so that it pulls air into the room. So we think that it's going to work that way, but you know, hopefully we don't have to make any modifications with that. But as you can see up here on the back of we have these black hoses, and that white hose there is the drain hose, and then this thinner black wire is the electrical that will hook into the unit outside. So we have the unit mounted. As you can see, I put in some 2x10 headers up there for it to mount in. That part out there only weighs 36 pounds, so I probably really overdid it, but I just want to make sure it doesn't fall on our heads. And you can see this 2x4 running the length here. I'm actually going to swap that out for this 1x4. And the reason that I'm doing that is these wires and this drain hose has to be on a decline outside so that condensation doesn't build up inside of that hose, otherwise it can leak, back up into the unit, that sort of thing. So we're going to put this board up there to make it rigid so that there's no sagging in between the ceiling rafters. So you'll see how that works. but it'll be like right here and then go on top of these ceiling rafters towards the back of the house. And that'll keep it on a steady decline to outside so that it doesn't get backed up. Whenever you install one of these, you have hoses and stuff that come out the back. So we had to drill a hole with a hole saw into the shiplap for that. So I'll show you the template that we used with that in a bit. So this is the hole that's in the shiplap. We used a 3.5 inch hole saw to cut that with. And then out of the back of the unit, indoor unit, there are the two brass connector hoses that will connect to another hose line to the outside. And then this white one is the drain hose, so we just have to make sure that this is not kinked. And if you do spray foam, let's say you're going to put this on an outer wall and you decide you're going to do spray foam, when you put the spray foam in, that can spray down and it can actually pinch it down against a 2x4 or some piece of hard structure in your wall, and it can actually kink it off. So in order to prevent that, it's a good idea to have either the drain hose put into some kind of PVC pipe and then you spray it, or you wait till the spray foam's in and then you cut out a little channel. So it's up to you how you do that. Just take that into consideration because it will kink off. I've seen that before where it kinks off and then it ends up leaking. And then of course this is the electrical cord that will go with this. And then we have to tape all this together with this tape that we came with the kit. And when you do it, just make sure this pipe is on bottom. So we've taken a 2x4 and a piece of shiplap and now this 1x4. So that hole coming through the wall, that will drop down onto this board. And then we have it, we're going to have it angled, so we just have that above the ceiling joist, and then we're going to dip down a little bit down there and then actually drill through this 2x6 ceiling runner rafter to go to the outside wall. So it'll have a continuous downhill slope all the way out to that back wall. So I've notched the 2x6 rafters. This is the next to the last one, and this is the last one before the hole outside. And as you can see with the level, it's a whole bubble slope. You can see that there is level. So it's got a good downhill slope all the way. So that'll keep it from building up condensation in the drain hose, so it won't have any leaks. So we're gonna start working outside now. So the length of this bracket was 31 inches, and you know that doesn't give much room to tie into the studs 32 inches apart. So what we had to do is build this bracket 2x4s so that it goes into the studs here. You get a middle stud there and this double stud down here, and then we've got it bolted in, got it screwed in, it's level. Pretty cool with this bracket, it has a built-in level. And now we're gonna attempt to get this thing up here, so we'll see what happens. I got to throw it on the front. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Get up there, go. Okay. We've got the Mr. Cool mounted to the side of the house. Just finishing up, tightening up the last few bolts. There's the exit tube that will have the condenser hoses and the electrical cord and the drain pipe that'll come out. We're about to connect the refrigerant lines from the indoor unit to the outdoor condenser.
Oh.
But this unit was way too close to the wall, even though we have this spacer back here with the 2x4 in this bracket. So we're bringing it all the way out to the end as far as we can go, and that will allow me enough room to get this in here without kinking this copper tube. So all we have to do left is connect that, finish wiring up the disconnect switch and the unit itself. You can see here up at the top the hole that we made earlier. We have the condenser hoses, the drain hose, which only comes to right here. So we'll have to get another connection so that we can run it down further to the ground. So we're going to continue working here and hopefully get this done. So you can see that there's a wider tube, a bigger diameter tube, and a smaller one. So make sure that and there's also color coordinated. This had a black cap on it, this had a black cap, this one has gray, this is gray. So just want to make sure that we're connecting everything right in this copper tubing. So you got to be careful not to kink this or crack it, especially around these joints. And you know, you just want to use your fingers to get this going because you don't want to strip this. Just want to make sure you take your time and go as gentle as possible because you do not want to break any of these seals or bend this tubing or strip these threads. And this is a DIY kit, so it came with the intention of you doing it yourself. It's pre-charged and it won't, so that means that it's filled with Freon already. And there's a lug down here that we have to release once everything is hooked up that will fill the lines. That copper wire's got a lot of tension on it, so it was pulling forward this towards me just enough not to get a bite, but when I put traction the other way on it, it finally felt it kind of snap over, and then now I'm just pushing back on it a little bit just to get it. Even though I've got this going, now that I have tools involved, I still want to be careful because I have a pretty good mechanical advantage. I could still strip these. I think what you're hearing there is the rubber O-rings inside changing form. And these bolts are kind of long-winded, so you think, oh my gosh, I'm gonna rip these off. No, everything's wired, everything's hooked up, the hoses are hooked up for the Freon. Power's hooked up, the breaker box is connected, the main switch is off at the pole. We have these little washer nuts, so we are going to release the Freon. Lefty loosey, right? Oh, I hear it.
Scoot it all the way out. Stop.
So it stops itself.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, bottom one's done. Let's see what I got here.
Is that how you turn it on? How do you turn it on?
Well, this is just hooking up the refrigerant. This is the main power outside from the meter box. So it's off now. I turned it off so that I could wire it up on the panel. Alright, back inside. Let me go ahead and flip the breaker. Oh my gosh, the air conditioner's working!
I also sweat. Can you turn it lower to 70?
Now let's see if we can hear it. That's pretty quiet, huh?
Oh my god, it even says 70 on it.
Remote control. Wow, listen to that. That thing is... That's really quiet. I was worried about, because the kids' bedrooms are right here on this back wall, I was worried that it would make a lot of noise. And tomorrow we'll be able to cover all of this with the kit that we got, outdoor kit, and we'll get all this covered up. And I think it's ready to go. It's working on the inside. It's really quiet.